Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Loving obeisances unto the Supreme Being Vasudeva, who is everything there is. Janmadyasya yato anvayaditaratascha abhigyasvarat tene brahma hridaya adikavaye muhyanti yatsuraya tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha dhamna swena sada nirastakuhakam satyam param dhimahi. We meditate upon the transcendent absolute being from whom springs forth this universe. He is present in all that exists and yet distinct from everything. He is fully conscious and totally independent. He revealed to the first seer Brahma the import of Vedic wisdom. The material creation made of threefold gunas appears in him as though real, like water in a mirage. Being eternally self effulgent, he is ever free of the illusion maya of the material world. We meditate upon him, the Supreme Being. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukamukad amrita drava sanyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. O devotees who relish a taste for divine love, Bhagavatam is the fully ripened fruit of the wish-yielding tree of Vedas, flowing as immortal nectar from Shuka Brahma Rishi. Go on drinking the sweet nectar day after day. So now we are entering the 20th chapter of the 5th Skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam. We saw a detailed description of Jambudwipa, the main island. We were told in the beginning of the 5th Skandha that Priyavrata, the first emperor, divided the entire terrestrial region into 7 dwipas, and the primary of them is Jambudwipa, which he installed his son Agnidhar as the king, and from that line came Nabhi and then Rishabha and then Bharata and so on. So that is the Jambudwipa. And then we also saw a description of the various Varshas or divisions of Jambudwipa, Bharat Varsha being one of them, but also all the other various Varshas and the great devotees who are there, such as Prahalad and Hanuman and so on, worshipping the Supreme Lord. Now, Shuka Brahma Rishi moves to describe the other 6 dwipas. So we saw Jambudwipa with its 9 divisions. Now we have another 6 dwipas, and they are quickly mentioned, each one of them. So there is a nice geometric arrangement described here. The Jambudwipa is in the middle, and surrounding that is ocean, and surrounding that is the next dwipa. So the ocean is like a moat, and then surrounding the next dwipa is the next ocean, and so on. It's a very mystical arrangement. It doesn't correspond to the geography as seen on earth. Jambudwipa alone, and even only portions of Jambudwipa we saw, especially Bharatvarsha, corresponds to the earthly geography. Many regions of Jambudwipa themselves are mystical in nature, because it is said that Hanuman is in Kim Purusha Varsha and Prahalad is in Hari Varsha and so on. They are not earthly realms. Similarly, these dvipas too are not earthly realms. So it is described though in a very nice geometric arrangement that outside of Jambudwipa is an ocean encircling it, and then around that is the next dvipa called Plaksha Dvipa. And Plaksha is the word coming from the tree called Plaksha. And this Plaksha Dvipa has 7 divisions. Now going forward, every Dvipa has 7 divisions. We are having totally 7 Dvipas, and each of the Dvipas have, other than Bharatvarsha, the other Dvipas have 7 divisions too. So it is said here that Plaksha Dvipa has 7 divisions, and it has a beautiful fire deity that is manifest there, and it is ruled by the second son of Priyavrata. So we saw that the first son Agnidhra rules Jambudwipa. So he had multiple sons, and he gave each son one dvipa. So he had 7 sons, and correspondingly he gave each of them the 7 dwipas, starting with the eldest son to Jambudwipa, the next son to this Dvipa. It has 7 divisions, it has 7 mountains, 7 rivers. The number 7 is very significant in Vedic literature in general. So we see there are descriptions of 7 oceans, 7 continents. We see this even on earth. And we see 7 notes to music, both in Eastern and Western classical music. The body has 7 yogic centers, starting from Muladhara Chakra to Swadhisthana, Manipuraka, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Agnya, and Sahasrara. There are 7 fires invoked in any sacrifice. So the number 7 is generally very sacred, and it signifies the journey of the soul from the lowest to the highest consciousness. Muladhara represents the lowest consciousness, which is identified with the body and the sexual energy. And when it transmutes and rises up the channel called Sushumna, it goes through Swadhisthana, then Manipuraka, as we said, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Agnya, and Sahasrara. So this ascending of the energy of the being by dissociating from bodily attachment and by expanding into the infinite is why the number 7 is significant, and this is seen outwardly as well, as we said, with notes of music and continents and oceans and all of them having the number 7. So here too it is said that the number of islands are 7, and each island has 7 varshas. The names are given to, they are Shiva, Yavasa, Shubhadra, Shanta, Kshema, Amrita, and Abhaya. And similarly, the names of the mountains, the 7 mountains and the 7 rivers are all given. All of them are very detailed description is given for all of them. And here in this Dwipa, Dvipa, it is said that all the beings worship the sun as the manifestation of the Supreme Being, Narayana, and they glorify the sun. Then outside of Dvipa, again there is ocean, and outside the ocean, again the ocean is like a moat, and outside that is what is called Shalmala Dvipa. And Shwalmala Dvipa has again a tree called Shalmali tree, and this Shalmala Dvipa is known for being the abode of Garuda. Garuda is the divine vehicle, the divine eagle for the Supreme Being, and therefore this Dvipa, Shalmala Dvipa, is special because it is the abode of Garuda, and this is in turn given to the next son of Priyavrata, the third son, this Dvipa, and it again has 7 mountains, 7 rivers, 7 divisions, and here the moon is invoked as the manifestation of the Supreme Being. Then outside of Shalmala Dvipa is again an ocean like a moat, and outside the ocean is again another Dvipa called Kushadvipa. And Kushadvipa is called so because it is abundant with Kusha grass, and Kusha is the specific grass used for all fire sacrifices. It's a very sacred grass, and therefore Kusha Dvipa has a lot of Kusha grass, and this is given to the 4th son of Priyavrata. This is the 4th island, and it is given to the 4th son. It again has 7 divisions, and it has 7 mountains and 7 rivers. So again we see the number 7 repeated again and again. And here fire is invoked as the manifestation of the Supreme Being Narayana. Then outside of Kushadvipa is again the ocean like a moat, and outside the ocean is Kraunchadvipa, and Kraunchadvipa is again well known because it is visited by, it is said, the younger son of Lord Shiva called Kartikeya. So it is said that Kartikeya once came and hurled his weapon on this island, Kraunchadvipa. Kartikeya, the son of Lord Shiva, is a very famous incarnation, and he is described in detail in Valmiki Ramayana. In fact, interestingly, why he is called as Kartikeya because he is fed by the Kartik Nakshatra, and there are 6 Kritikas, and he takes 6 faces to be fed by them, and that's why he's called Shanmukha or 6-faced. And he is one who's known to have been in the lake called Shravana, and therefore he's called Sharavana. And he is fallen off the shoulder, as it were, and therefore is called Skandha. So these are all the various names of Kartikeya, which are all described in detail in Valmiki Ramayana. So this Kartikeya, Skandha, or Shanmukha, all these names describe the son of Lord Shiva, who is worshipped in many parts of Bharat, especially in the south. And so this Krauncha Dwipa is visited by Kartikeya. And this Krauncha Dwipa again has 7 divisions. It has 7 mountains, 7 rivers. And here the element of water is worshipped as the manifestation of the Supreme Being. Outside of Krauncha Dwipa is again an ocean like a moat. And outside the ocean is what's called Shaka Dwipa. And Shaka Dwipa, again called so because there is a tree called Shaka. Krauncha Dwipa was called so because there is a mountain called Krauncha, whereas Shaka Dwipa is called so because there is a tree called Shaka. And this is given to the 6th son of Priyavrata, going in the order. Again, it has 7 divisions, 7 mountains, 7 rivers, and here the Lord is invoked in the form of wind or air. So those who live here, it is said, practice pranayama and invoke the Supreme Being in the form of air. And then outside of that is again an ocean like a moat. And then is the last Dwipa called Pushkara Dwipa. And Pushkara Dwipa, it is said, is the home of Brahma again, where Brahma comes here to be seated in a 1,000-petal lotus. And this has only 2 divisions. This is given to the 7th son of Priyavrata. And here Brahma is worshipped as a manifestation of the Supreme Being. So again, it's a nice concentric order. Jambudwipa is in the middle, which we saw the detailed description containing Bharat Varsha and all the other Varshas in great detail in the last episode. Outside of Jambudwipa, which was given to the first son of Priyavrata, outside of that is Plakshadwipa, which is to the second son of Priyavrata, where sun is worshipped as the supreme, as the manifestation of the Supreme Being. Outside of Plakshadwipa is Shalmaladwipa, where moon is worshipped. And outside of Shalmaladwipa is Kushadwipa, where fire is worshipped. And outside of Kushadwipa is Kraunchadwipa, where water is worshipped. And outside of Kraunchadwipa is Shakadwipa, where air is worshipped. And outside of Shakadwipa is finally Pushkara Dwipa, where Brahma is worshipped. So this is the order of the 7 Dwipas. And it is said that outside of all these Dwipas, there is a mountain range. It's symbolically called as Loka Loka because it is said to be the end of the visible or perceptible universe. So these are symbolic descriptions given about the various lokas, the various dvipas first of all. And after the 7 dvipas arranged in nice order, again symbolize, all these are symbolic in their real sense because these 7 dvipas again represent 7 states of consciousness and are more precisely the ascendance of one's energy through the 7 centers and being free of all identification or all attachment. And then there is the description of this mountain range called Loka Loka. And then it is said that the sun goes figuratively again around the whole dwipa. So we know that in a literal sense, we as Earth and other planets go around the sun, but figuratively, the sun is going around us, and that's why we use expressions even now as sun is rising and sun is setting. In reality, the sun doesn't rise, the sun doesn't set, the sun is the same in a relative way. We are moving, and because of the movement of Earth, it seems the sun is rising and the sun is setting. So the language always uses in such a way that the sun is moving around us, rising and setting. The same way Bhagavatam also uses the same language, that the sun is moving around in a circle. So the one beautiful thing here is that the circular nature of Earth and therefore the movement of the orbit in circle is identified here in Bhagavatam again, well before modern astronomy was ever invented or discovered rather. So the orbit of the sun in circle around the earth is figuratively given here. And then a couple of names of sun are described. Why the sun is called as Martanda, because it is said that the Anda, the cosmic egg, was given life by sun. It was otherwise a dead egg, and the sun gives life. The supreme being in the form of the sun illuminates this universe, and therefore he is called Martanda. He is also called Hiranyagarbha because he is the sun represents the embryo in the center of the golden egg of the cosmos. Hiranya means gold and Garbha is the embryo. So these are some names of the sun, and those who do yoga, for example, Surya Namaskar, they may notice that these names are invoked in the 12 poses of the sun, Hiranyagarbha and Aditya and Bhaskara and so on. Here some of these names are, especially Martanda and Hiranyagarbha, are described. And it is said, therefore, that the sun is the life-giving energy and therefore the very manifestation of the Supreme Being on earth, and that which gives not only humans but all species, reptiles, plants, everything, the very life, and therefore the sun ought to be revered. So this is why the Gayatri Mantra also invokes the sun, and it says that that intelligence which illuminates the sun, may it illuminate my intellect too, is the essence of Gayatri Mantra's prayer. So here also the sun is therefore glorified as the essence of life for all beings. It says, Sarva Jiva Nikayanam Surya Atma Drigishwaraha. It says Drigishwaraha, the Lord that presides over all directions and over sight itself. Drik means sight. So the Lord who presides over eyesight, because we can see only through the light of sun, which is Surya, Atma, the very self, comes about as Surya, as the sun, and it is the life of all species. Sarva Jiva Nikayanam Surya Atma Drigishwaraha. Thus the sun is glorified. And with this, chapter 20 is over, and we move to chapter 21, where the movement of sun is described in greater detail, continuing with the last chapter. And Shuka Brahma Rishi continues by saying that the sun moves in both northern and southern directions. So all these beautiful astronomical details are given in Bhagavatam here, again well before modern astronomy was ever there as a branch of learning. So it talks about Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. Uttarayana is the course of the sun in a northerly direction, which corresponds to the present months of January through June. That is the Gregorian calendar. And the Dakshinayana represents the southern march of the sun, which corresponds to July through December. And it also gives in detail the various ways in which the sun moves through the 12 signs. So the signs are, Mesha is the sign which comes during spring, during which the day and night are equal. So the spring equinox, which comes on March 21st, is the time during the Mesha, which is Aries. And so all the 12 signs are described in beautiful detail here in Bhagavatam. It says that the sun starts from Mesha, where the day and night are equal, and then it goes through Vrishabha, which is Taurus, then Mithuna, which is Gemini, Karkata, which is Cancer, Simha, which is Leo, and Kanya, which is Virgo. These are the signs that come after that. We can see how the signs are very precise. The current zodiac signs are, in fact, exactly matching the Vedic signs. And then after Virgo comes Libra, which is Tula. And Tula Rashi or Libra is the fall equinox time or the autumn equinox time. And after that comes Vrichika, which is Scorpio, Dhanush, which is Sagittarius, Makara, which is Capricorn, Kumbha, which is Aquarius, and Meena, which is Pisces. So even the meanings are quite exactly the same. Meena, for example, means fish, which is the sign for Pisces, and so on. So, and then not only that, it gives very beautifully that the sun's movement is such that it moves with the days becoming longer, starting from the first sign of winter, that is the starting from present January all the way through June. So in the middle comes Aries, which is Mesha Rashi, where the day and night becomes equal. Similarly, so after Cancer, then the sun again goes into the southern direction where the days are shorter and the nights are longer. And then it comes to Tula Rashi, which is Libra, where the day and night are again equal. And then we go to really short day, the shortest being the winter solstice, which comes during end of December. So all this is described in beautiful detail. So the Raashis, the 12 Raashis, and the movement of sun through these Raashis, wherein how the spring and the fall equinox come during Aries and Libra, which is Mesha and Tula, and then the other Rashis where there is either ascending or descending. And of course, all this is described from the northern hemisphere standpoint. Southern hemisphere would be the opposite. Then it also gives some calculations around the distance of the sun to earth, which is very interesting. Many different metrics are given here. And then it also figuratively says that the sun, which is going around the earth as we saw figuratively, has 12 spokes in its wheel, which represents the 12 months. It has a rim with 6 segments, which represents the 6 seasons. So normally we have 4 seasons in many parts, but in Ayurveda, 6 seasons are given. They are starting with Shishira, which is starting from that is if you look at the Gregorian calendar again, the first 2 months are called Shishira, January and February, which is the winter, peak winter, and then or maybe late winter, and then Vasanta, which is March and April, which is spring, and then Grishma, which is summer, May and June, Varsha, which is monsoon, July and August, and then Sharad, which is autumn, September and October, and Hemant, which is late autumn and early winter, which is November and December. So these are the 6 seasons again, called 6 Ritus. They more or less match because the monsoon season is not there outside of Bharat. So that is a special season that adds 1 season to the 4 normally, spring, summer, fall, and winter. And then the late fall, early winter has its own special season, and that's why 1 more season is added. called Hemant. So therefore there is Shishir, Vasant, Grishma, Varsha, Sharad and Hemant. These are the 6 seasons given by Ayurveda, and all of this is described in nice detail here. And therefore it is said that this movement of the sun through 12 months and 6 seasons and 360 days, 365 days, through Uttarayana and Dakshinayana, that is through the northern direction and the southern direction, lights up the whole universe, that is the whole solar system, and thereby it gives life to the whole solar system. So the last verse of the previous chapter we saw, where it said, Sarva Jiva Nikhayanam Surya Atma Drigishwaraha. So the essence of that verse is described completely in this next chapter, that how the sun gives life to the entire solar system, to all the species, by this very detailed description of the movement of sun through the various zodiac signs, which are called the Raashis, and the various seasons, and so on. So with this chapter ends. There is one last detail given here, that the 4 directions through which the sun goes have 4 principal deities. The eastern direction has Indra, south has Yama, west has Varuna, and north has the moon. And these are seen even in many places, that normally the east is considered auspicious for Indra, south is the direction of Yama, which is death, and west is for Varuna, and the north is for moon. So it is said that the sun goes through these 4 directions, and these 4 deities are there in their abodes in each of these directions, figuratively speaking, and sun goes through them, giving 6 hours each. So because sun goes through its cycle in 24 hours, it is said that the sun goes from Indra's place to Yama's place in 6 hours, which is east to south, and then Yama to Varuna in 6 hours, which is south to west, and then Varuna to the moon, which is west to north, 6 hours, and then back from moon to Indra, which is 6 hours again, north to east. So this is this clockwise direction of the movement of the sun also given. So with all these descriptions of the stellar sphere, as it is called, the solar sphere, and the essential point being that the whole operation of the intelligence of this universe goes to show the tremendous intelligence. It is not some arbitrary, random, chance event, but it is guided by very precise intelligence. We can see how the movement of the sun, it's all following precise mathematical rules, and that is why today we are able to discover so many patterns using math and physics about the movement of the sun, about the movement of the distances, and about therefore space travel and all the rest. So this whole movement is so symmetric, synchronous and harmonious, showing the great cosmic intelligence that is behind the various celestial bodies, of which sun is the most important in the entire solar system, and therefore the movement of the sun through all these various aspects of Raashis and Ritus and all the rest is given in detail. And therefore we have to always recognize the cosmic intelligence behind all of this, and therefore nature, starting with the sun, is a living manifestation of the Supreme Being, and to be honored as such and not exploited, but to live together harmoniously. That's the essential message of these chapters, which Bhagavatam always reinforces. And with this, these 2 chapters end. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.